Rachel clutched her resume tightly as she sat on the edge of the full-leather chair in the pristine waiting room. Her daughter, Lily, no more than 3, squirmed quietly in her lap, her tiny hands wrapped around a faded teddy bear with one eye missing. The bright lights and echo of heels on marble made the little girl tuck closer to her mother. Rachel gave her a reassuring smile, even though her heart pounded like a drum. She had left their apartment before sunrise, navigating 2 buses and a 10-block walk to get here, just for a chance. A chance at a job that promised a steady paycheck, health benefits, maybe even a better future. Her blazer was second-hand but carefully pressed, and her shoes pinched, but she didn't care. She had practiced her answers all night after tucking Lily in. Other candidates sat nearby in crisp suits, their laptops open, eyes flickering toward Rachel with a mix of curiosity and judgment. One woman glanced pointedly at Lily and looked away, lips pursed. Rachel pretended not to notice. She gently whispered to her daughter to stay quiet, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's cheek. The child smiled, completely unaware of the weight her mother carried. Rachel tried not to let the fear show on her face. She only had one shot at this. And as much as she wished she could have come alone, life hadn't given her that luxury. All she could do now was breathe, and hope someone would see her worth. The receptionist gave Rachel a hesitant glance, eyes flicking to the toddler in her arms. For a moment, it looked like she might say something, maybe ask her to leave Lily outside, but instead, she gave a tight smile and gestured toward the glass door. "You're up," she said. Rachel stood, adjusting her bag on one shoulder and taking Lily's hand with the other. Her heart raced. She stepped into the sleek office, flooded with sunlight and framed by city skyline. Behind the desk sat Michael Carrington, CEO of Carrington Solutions, a man whose name was printed in Forbes and whispered in business circles. He looked up, his eyes locking first on Rachel, then on the small child at her side. One eyebrow arched slightly. "You brought your daughter?" he asked, not unkindly, just surprised. Rachel's face flushed with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry," she said quickly. "My sitter canceled last minute. I can reschedule, please, I understand." She began to back away, clutching Lily tighter. But Michael held up a hand. "No need. Come in. Let's talk." For a moment, Rachel just stood there, unsure if she'd heard right. Then she nodded, pulled a chair close, and helped Lily sit beside her. The little girl swung her feet, humming softly, while Rachel launched into the interview she'd rehearsed for days. Her voice wavered at first, but steadied as Michael asked questions, not just about her skills, but about her story. And for the first time in a long while, someone seemed genuinely interested in the whole of who she was. Halfway through the interview, just as Rachel was explaining how she'd taught herself spreadsheet modeling during night shifts at a diner, Lily let out a small giggle. Michael glanced down to see the toddler holding out her tattered teddy bear to him with both hands, eyes wide with the pure innocence only children possess. Rachel froze, horrified. "I'm so sorry, Lily, honey, not now," she whispered, reaching to pull her daughter back. But Michael surprised her. He leaned forward with a warm smile, took the stuffed toy gently, and said, "Is this your assistant?" Lily nodded proudly. "His name's Buttons." He laughed, genuinely. Not the polite kind, but the kind that softened the air between them. The tension that had gripped Rachel's shoulders began to ease. What followed wasn't the interview she'd expected. Michael leaned back, teddy bear in hand, and asked her about her life. Not just what was on her resume, but what wasn't, how she managed parenting alone, what motivated her to apply, how she kept going when things got hard. Rachel hesitated at first, unsure if honesty would be a strength or a strike against her. But something in his gaze told her to be real. So she told him about balancing night shifts, finishing online certifications between diaper changes, and how every step forward was for Lily. When she finished, Michael sat silent for a long moment. Not out of judgment, but respect. It wasn't just her answers that impressed him. It was her resilience. Her raw, quiet strength. As the interview wrapped up, Rachel stood, already rehearsing her thank you and polite exit, preparing herself for the inevitable, a kind rejection, maybe a follow-up that would never come. She reached for Lily's hand and smiled, trying to mask the ache of disappointment before it could settle. "Thank you for your time, Mr. Carrington," she said. "I appreciate you making the space, under the circumstances." Michael stood too, still holding the worn teddy bear. He looked at Lily, then back at Rachel. "Wait," he said. She paused, her breath catching. "You're exactly who I want on my team." Rachel blinked, unsure she'd heard him right. I'm sorry. You have grit, adaptability, loyalty, and more initiative than most people I've met this year," he said. "I don't just want to hire you, I need people like you around here." Her lips parted, but no words came. Then he added, almost casually, "We have on-site childcare. Full coverage, included in your benefits package. You'll never have to choose between showing up for your daughter and showing up for your job again." Rachel covered her mouth with both hands as tears filled her eyes. Lily, sensing the shift in the room, looked up and smiled, clapping her little hands as if celebrating a game she didn't fully understand. In that moment, years of exhaustion seemed to lift off Rachel's shoulders. Someone had finally seen her, not just as a resume, not just as a mother, but as a whole, capable human being. A few weeks later, the glass doors of Carrington Solutions slid open, and Rachel stepped through, this time not as a desperate job seeker, but as a new hire. Her blazer was new, her stride steady. Lily walked beside her in a tiny backpack, gripping her mother's hand and grinning up at the bright, buzzing office. The receptionist smiled warmly, this time without hesitation. "Morning, Rachel." "Lily, too." Rachel smiled back, the kind of smile that came from deep within, the kind she hadn't worn in years. She checked Lily into the on-site daycare, where a kind woman knelt to greet her daughter at eye level. Lily barely looked back as she skipped off with a new friend, her beloved teddy bear tucked under her arm. Upstairs, Michael watched from behind the glass of his office, sipping his coffee. A quiet smile tugged at his face. He wasn't a man prone to sentiment, but this felt right. It wasn't just about filling a position. It was about using his influence to do something that mattered. Rachel passed his door, and he gave her a small nod. She nodded back, grateful, grounded, ready. And as she settled into her desk, surrounded by people who now saw her as an equal, she realized something: this wasn't just a job. It was a fresh start. For her. For Lily. Because sometimes, the smallest acts of compassion can rewrite an entire future. And all it takes is someone willing to say, "Yes, I see you, and you belong here."